If you are looking at buying an apartment in a recently completed new construction building, you're gonna wanna look very hard at this. You see, the problem with buying an apartment in a recently completed new construction building is that if you are buying it now, you are likely one of the last people to buy an apartment within that building. And this is a problem because of the amount of flipping that is taking place with new construction. You see, one of the biggest investments in Portugal is real estate. Lots of Portuguese love to invest in real estate, much more than, let's say, the stock market or in other businesses. They prefer to invest in real estate. And what has happened over the past 4 or 5 years is that lots of people have been buying new construction before it was even built, when it was in the plan phase. And they bought it with the intent of flipping it once the construction was complete. Well, what has happened is that you will drive around Lisbon and you will see that there are lots of apartment buildings that are empty. No one is living in these apartment buildings. In fact, I have been to buildings where there are well over 100 units in the building. But when you drive by at night, you only see 5 or 6, maybe 10 lights on in the entire building. The rest of the building, like 80% of the building, is empty. And the problem of being the last person to buy in these types of developments is that there have been people that made their purchase years ago when they were buying at the lowest absolute prices. And so now, once the building is complete, likely soon after you buy your unit, you are gonna realize that many more units are gonna be up for resale. And those resale prices are gonna start to compete with one another, especially in the larger buildings where the stock is pretty much the same. And the only way that these units are gonna be able to differentiate themselves from one another is by lowering the price. And so what we have seen in new buildings is that we have seen the last units sell for 2 or sometimes 3 times the price as the first people that first bought into that building. And so the danger with buying in these types of buildings is that when all of these new construction house flippers start to sell their units, they will start to lower the price. And depending on when you bought in that building, you could start to see the equity of your home start to go down. And so this should be a huge concern if you are looking at new construction, especially in very big developments. Now, with that said, I'm not saying avoid new construction altogether. I'm saying make sure you're not buying a building that is not owned primarily by investors who plan on flipping the new construction.